I'm a big fan of the dramas, mysteries, and thrillers that Netflix acquires from Germany. The newest one to hit the platform is Black Island. It's sort of familiar, but does it introduce anything worthy of watching? After the tragic death of his parents, a high school student lives on a North Sea island with his grandfather. The arrival of a new young German teacher turns his life completely upside down. She recognizes and encourages his writing talent and uses this emerging trust to build an intimate relationship with him. However, he has no idea that there may be a dark plan in the works. Right from the beginning, the movie sets up the relationship with our protagonist Jonas and his grandfather. Jonas's parents were killed in an accident, and now he lives with his grandfather, who was semi-estranged. And they don't have a very great relationship, and it's pretty strained. As the school year starts, a young teacher takes an interest in Jonas, and some sparks begin to fly between them. The teacher, Helena, appears to be kind and caring, but we learn pretty quickly that she's also got some mystery to her. This is a family drama mixed with mystery and thriller elements. Much of the villain is obvious right from the start, and I think it's meant to be. The story sets up the antagonist and lets us know that they're up to no good, but then it doesn't explain why. And that question is what drives the narrative. Why is this person performing all these actions? And then to what end? Is it revenge? Obsession certainly comes into play at some point, but all along we get the sense that it is something much bigger than just a simple obsession. There's a lot of manipulation we see, which creates a disturbing atmosphere, especially in some of the actions of the players. While I like some of the cinematography in this, especially with the exterior scenery shots, there are some odd camera movements. Characters will react to something, but the camera will then focus on something that wasn't in their eye line, and it made me think I was missing something or that something else was going on that we just wouldn't see, which then made the scene lose some context. And there are some big plot conveniences to allow characters to perform certain actions, but if you can suspend a little belief, they can be mildly plausible. There are other scenarios that you just have to suspend all belief that a person could get away with certain actions completely unnoticed and in the broad daylight. There's also a sequence where someone is in a situation where they need to fight back, but they don't. It's close quarters, and while for a moment that it can make sense if somebody doesn't fight, there comes a point where it's the only natural thing to do out of desperation and survival. And then at one point there's a place where a body is found and the surroundings just don't match the setting in which we see the body dumped. That lack of continuity was really bothersome, especially because we get some great wide aerial shots of the dumping, and it's plainly clear that it is not the same location as the discovery. Now, I do like that the mystery isn't revealed too early. At least the story keeps some of the motivations close to the vest, which then draws out the intrigue. The story feels familiar, but I was still sucked in. The larger motivation and mystery kept me engaged to find out why that it was all happening. And once the reveal is made, there's quite a disturbing revelation that comes to light. There's this level of depravity that is purposely chosen, and I think it's pretty messed up. The story is dark and the mystery is executed well, at least when it comes to the reasonings for everything. The acting is decent, and I especially like the character of Jonas because he sold the timid or bashful and maybe even shrinking persona. There's a certain lack of confidence that shines through, which is totally in line with what we learn about his character. And I enjoyed his performance, and we do get to see a little strength come from him, but it's not a large growth. There is a resolution that is reached in the story, and it does make sense. It's even fairly satisfying, but ultimately I don't think this movie is a memorable one. It feels more like a made-for-TV movie that you can get some decent enjoyment from while watching, and then you go right back to your life and not have it stick with you. Overall, I don't think this is bad for a casual watch. Yeah, we've seen a lot of this setup before, but the acting and the pace keep the hour and 44 long minute thriller moving along fairly efficiently. And I like that the story kept the underlying motivation fairly hidden for so long, making us guess at why the antagonist is doing the things they are. Now, this isn't one to drop everything and stream, but if you are in the mood for a decent German thriller, you may want to check this out at some point. There's sex, nudity, some profanity, and a few scenes of brutal violence. I give Black Island 3 out of 5 couches. Are there any good mysteries you've seen lately? Let me know what you watched in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.